Good morning, I'm Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. All 7 provinces to announce the budgets for the coming fiscal year. Agriculture, employment generation and tourism on priority. Budgets to be based on government's policies and programs. Government unit receives over 60,000 complaints of depositors claiming they have been swindled by their cooperatives. Preparations underway to form a high-level commission. South Africa's parliament has re-elected Cyril Ramaphosa as the country's president following a landmark coalition deal between the governing African National Congress and opposition parties. And South Africa defeats Nepal by 1 run in the ICC T20 World Cup, ending Nepal's hopes of qualifying for the Super 8. South Africa has already made its place in the Super 8. All 7 province governments are to announce the budget for the next fiscal year with special priority to agriculture, employment generation and tourism, and based on the government's policies and programs. The Madhesh government has said it will focus on poverty alleviation, increasing production, ensuring social justice and economic growth. The province's Financial Affairs Minister Bharat Prasad Shah has claimed that the budget for next fiscal is balanced with development of the province at the center of it. Likewise, Lumbini province government is preparing for a budget of almost 40 billion rupees with focus on agriculture, tourism, road, irrigation, physical infrastructure and stranded projects. Second priority would be to ensure access to drinking water for every household. Elsewhere, the Gandaki province government is bringing a budget of around 32,750 billion rupees with focus on agriculture, tourism, energy and industries. The province government's budget for the ongoing fiscal year is 35,900 billion rupees. Provincial government has planned of allocating budgets for 60% projects from the project bank and 40% for projects from provincial assembly members. Gandaki Province Assembly has approved of policies and programs for the fiscal year 2081-82. Sudur Paschim government that had 29,260 billion rupees for the ongoing fiscal year is preparing for a budget of 33 billion rupees for the next fiscal. Koshi, Bagmati and Karnali governments are also preparing for budget based on the policies and programs approved by the Provincial Assembly. And in this context, in our Public Voice segment, we've asked in several provinces what should be the priority of the budgets of provincial governments. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
किसानहरुको लागि खाद मलहरु बढिया समयमै पुगाओस्।
धेरै हाम्रो महिलाहरुले यतिकै घुरिराखे छ चलिराखे छ अलिक ठुलो ठुलो बजेट यता दिए भए महिलाहरुको के गर्दिए भए सरकारले हुन्थ्यो।
बच्चाहरुको त्यो स्कुलमा त्यो राम्रो गर्नु पर्यो।
बजेट कार्यान्वयन भइरहेछ कि छैन त्यो हेर्नु। जनताले अहिलेसम्म ल्याएको बजेटको अनुभूति गर्न पाएको छैन।
जनकपुर धामलाई कम्तीमा पर्यटक क्षेत्र बनाउनु पर्यो।
जनता सँग सरकार भएको बजेट हुनु पर्यो।
प्रत्येक स्थानीय तहमा कोल्ड स्टोर, सिंचाईको अनि खाद र बिउको किसानको लागि सिजन भन्दा पहिला उपलब्ध हुनु पर्यो।
शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य लगायतका कृषि लगायतका क्षेत्रमा चाहिँ एकीकृत बजेट चाहिँ पुर्याउन सक्यो भने कमसेकम त्यो बजेटले सार्थकता पाउँथ्यो।
जनमानसलाई भुलाउने बजेट भन्दा पनि अलिकति भौतिक पूर्वाधारमा देखिने केही चाहिँ नयाँ कुराहरू देखिने तरिकाको बजेट भयो भने
While introducing the budget last year, the government had declared several programs with the objective of retaining youth in the country and promoting entrepreneurship. However, despite the ongoing fiscal year about to end, the program has not been implemented. In addition to that, the program which was not implemented has been given continuity for the upcoming fiscal year. The government includes programs in the budget to gain popularity each year but fails to implement them, thus deceiving the public. Several such populist programs are included in the government's policies and programs and the budget but are never implemented. With the objective of promoting entrepreneurship and manufacturing sector, the government had included National Production and Employment Promotion Program in the budget last year. 7 billion rupees was allocated for the program. A draft was prepared with the objective of providing loans at 3% interest rate, but it was not endorsed due to lack of consensus between the erstwhile Minister for Finance, Prakash Charan Mahat, and the National Planning Commission Vice Chair, Min Bahadur Shrestha. The program, which was not implemented, has yet again been included in the budget for the upcoming fiscal. Founder of the National Innovation Center, Mahabir Pun, resorted to protest with a demand of allocation of at least 1% for Nepalese involved in research, innovation and inventions. The government agreed to the demand and then allocated 1 billion rupees for innovation and invention. However, in the absence of laws, the program has not been implemented. Government decision to scrap 20 organizations with the objective of reducing current expenditure was not successful in the absence of support from related ministries and officials. Such trend of including programs in the budget but failing to implement them have reduced the public's trust. The program for country rating of Nepal, with the objective of assessing the investment environment, has regularly been featured in the budget for the past 5 years. However, it has yet to be implemented. The constitutional arrangement for the introduction of the budget on the 15th of Jesta, as per Nepali calendar, was introduced with the objective of formulating required laws, regulations and directives within the month of Shravan. However, populist programs introduced by the government have not seen the light of the day due to failure in formulating required policies and directives. Now, the government is preparing to form a high-level commission to resolve the issue of cooperatives. According to Minister for Land Management, Cooperatives and Poverty Alleviation, Balaram Adhikari, the next Council of Ministers meeting will form the commission. This comes after the government received around 60,000 applications from the victims of cooperatives. The ministry has said there is a need to recover 35,510 million rupees. Along with the commission, Minister Adhikari also said an authority would be formed for monitoring the cooperative sector. The ministry is also to table a draft of its plan to improve the cooperative sector at the Council of Ministers. Adhikari also said the ministry has begun works to retrieve government lands that have been encroached by middlemen. Minister Adhikari also claimed that in the past 100 days, in fact, 2,416 people had received their land ownership certificate and that the online services in land revenue offices had been made more effective. Protests have been held in Kalaya's Bharat Chowk after the murder of Hari Sharan Kushwaha, the chief of Ram Raja campus. Campus students and locals lit up tires since early morning today. The police have arrested 6 individuals suspected of connection to Kushwaha's murder. An unknown group of people had shot at Kushwaha at Bara's Adarsa Kotwal rural municipality, Batara, yesterday. He was taken to Vayoda Hospital in Birganj for treatment, however succumbed to the injury. Now, although it is the duty of the country's executive head to inform the parliament about the developments of any foreign visits, Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has yet to do so regarding his visit to India last week, despite requests from lawmakers of ruling and the opposition parties. The parliament session has been ongoing every day, and the leaders of the opposition have been demanding answers from the Premier in every session. While it might look normal for the opposition to demand answers, this time even lawmakers from the ruling parties have urged the Premier to share the details of his India visit. On Friday, Speaker Devraj Ghimire eventually drew the government attention for the same. Meanwhile, the Premier has been talking about his visit elsewhere. Yesterday, while inaugurating the substation of the third largest electricity transmission line of 400 kilovolt capacity at Hetoda, Thana Bharyang, Prime Minister Dahal said that he held discussions with his Indian counterpart regarding solving the border issues between Nepal and India and strengthening bilateral mechanisms. Analysts say the Premier should have first informed the Parliament about these developments, and by not doing so, it has been understood that the Premier has ignored his duties to the Parliament. It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, why do you think Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has not informed the Parliament about his India visit and rather shared of the visit's developments outside? Your options are A. Ignoring the Parliament, B. Nothing concrete to share, and C. Fear of being criticized. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Moving on, the Ministry of Education on 26th of May implemented a directive for teachers transfer with the objective of facilitating transfer of teachers and make the process transparent. Based on the directive, a facilitation committee is provisioned which will make transfer recommendations to the centre. The committee would also work on issues as directed by the ministry and the centre. However, umbrella organizations, municipality associations and Federation of Rural Municipalities have protested, saying the decision is against the system envisioned by the Constitution. They say the Local Government Operation Act 2074 has given the full authority of education up to 12th standard to the local levels. Local levels have called on all 753 local governments to not implement the ministry's directive and also to execute works as per the Local Education Act. The Federation of School Management Committee has also stood in opposition of the ministry decision, saying that the new directive would complicate the process of transferring teachers. They say the move would result in the collapse of community schools and discourage teachers. Meanwhile, the government has a different opinion, as it says the directive was issued to address the complaints that teachers' transfer was done on political basis. Around 90,000 teachers are employed at the community schools across the country. However, majority of them are engaged more in political activities than academic, which has degraded the quality of education. Let's move on to international update. South Africa's parliament has re-elected Cyril Ramaphosa as the country's president following a landmark coalition deal between the governing African National Congress and opposition parties. The African National Congress and its largest rival, the white-led pro-business Democratic Alliance, agreed to work together in South Africa's new government of national unity, a step change after 30 years of ANC rule. Once unthinkable, the Accord, in fact, allowed President Cyril Ramaphosa to win a second term in office. He was re-elected by lawmakers with 283 votes. The deal between two sharply antagonistic parties is the most momentum political shift in South Africa since Nelson Mandela led the ANC to victory in the 1994 election that marked the end of apartheid. The ANC lost its majority for the first time in an election on 29th of May and spent 2 weeks in talks with other parties that went down to the wire on Friday morning, which is yesterday, as the new parliament was convening. Long seen as unbeatable in national elections, the ANC lost support in recent years as voters worried of persistently high levels of poverty, inequality and crime, rolling power cuts and corruption in party ranks. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.